What if I told you the global debt crisis didn't accidentally happen, and that the system designed to create prosperity was quietly engineered to ensure something else: permanent dependency? Because here's the mystery. Few people stop to question. If every nation on Earth owes money, and every government runs deficits, and every central bank creates currency from liabilities, who or what benefits from a world where debt can never be paid off? Most people assume debt is simply a political issue: overspending, bad budgets, mismanaged economies. But the real story is older, deeper, and rooted in financial architecture built over centuries. A story where governments lost control of money, where the idea of value became abstract, and where debt, not currency, became the real product. Today, we're pulling back the curtain, setting the stage 0:45 to 3 o'clock. To understand how nations became trapped in a financial loop, we need to step back. Long before digital transactions, long before stimulus packages, long before the world started measuring economies by how fast they could borrow, there were early experiments with credit, private banking families, and monarchs desperate for money to fund wars. The modern system was not born all at once. It evolved in moments of crisis, moments where governments needed money, and private lenders provided it for a price. But the key twist most people never learn is this: every major leap in global finance wasn't created through innovation. It was created through failure. A collapse, a panic, a war, a shortage. And every time, the solution pushed nations deeper into a model where debt wasn't a temporary tool, but a permanent mechanism. The story has 5 major phases: the origins of state debt, the rise of private central banking, the breaking point of fiat money, the fallout of globalized credit, and the failed fixes that keep the system alive. Let's walk through them piece by piece. Origins. When states first sold tomorrow 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock, the concept of public debt began in the 17th century. European monarchs had a problem. They wanted to wage expensive wars, but taxpayers couldn't fund them fast enough. So rulers turned to merchants and wealthy banking families, Medici, Fugger, Rothschild, and others, who provided loans at interest. This moment changed everything. For the first time, states discovered that they could borrow against the future, and lenders realized they could shape geopolitics by controlling access to credit. But there was a catch. If kings defaulted, lenders lost everything, so banks demanded collateral taxation rights, trade privileges, or control over minting currency. Debt wasn't just financial, it was political. And the more wars kings fought, the more dependent they became. This wasn't a system, it was a cycle. A cycle that set the stage for the next phase. The rise: central banks replace kings, 7 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Fast forward to 1694, England is drowning in war debt. The crown can't pay its bills. Confidence in the currency collapses. In response, a proposal emerges. Create a private institution, the Bank of England, authorized to issue money as debt to the government. This model becomes the template for modern central banking. Government needs money, bank creates it by issuing loans. Currency enters circulation as interest-bearing debt, the public pays the interest through taxation. It's genius, so if you're the lender, not so much if you're the citizen. Throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, similar institutions spread across Europe and later the United States. By the time the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, the pattern was unmistakable. Nations no longer issued money. Banks did. Governments simply borrowed it. And the more they borrowed, the more the system grew. The rise of central banking created a new problem. You can expand debt faster than you expand gold, which leads to the next breaking point. The breaking point when money stopped being real: 12 o'clock to 17 o'clock. For centuries, currencies were tied to precious metals, mostly gold. This acted as a limit, a restraint, a barrier between spending and reality. But in the 20th century, something changed. World War I forced nations to suspend the gold standard. World War II forced them to rewrite it. And by 1971, when President Nixon shut the gold window entirely, money became an abstract concept, not a store of value, not something scarce, something created instantly through debt. From that moment on, banks issued loans, first money appeared second, and debt began outrunning economic growth forever. This wasn't a flaw. It was the design.